brain wants you. I've been hanging by myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you. Yeah, you always make me feel like, oh yeah, you never leave my thoughts alone, yeah, you.
A part of my theme song on this type of blog, well, not blog, but podcast. I do so many things, I can't even get the categories right. I do videos, I do blogs, I do podcasts, I do the artwork, whatever. But in this style of show that we do, this is becoming my theme song. I'm kind of like getting mellow with this, right? I want to welcome everybody back to another episode of the LanceScurv podcast. I'm feeling mellow. I feel good. I feel positive. But there are things we have to talk about. Okay, there's a lot of things. Yes, my dear, beautiful sister Oyala. Yes, I'm waiting for that phone call. And I'm sorry I had to cut that little bit out that was really low, but I had to, and it really hurt me to do so. But now we know the secret, so now we're going to go all the way with it, right? Yeah. Anyway, like I was saying, rest in power, Irene Cara. She was born on March 18th, 1959. And she transitioned November 25th, 2022. Now, let me just say that this whole program is not going to be about her. No slant to her, no diss to her. But so many people have covered this already, and I don't want to be some reporter who comes off redundant, right? The news gets there as soon as, unfortunately, it's like when we take our last breath, here it is. Yes. NFN Shaka, don't know how to pronounce that first name. I know something silent. I know it's a certain way. Welcome on in. After a while, I'm not even going to kind of see the chat room. I'm going to kind of zone out and just get these thoughts off because some things hit me tonight in a different way. And I don't have them organized or written down. I always freestyle it. Midnight Green. Yes. Much love. Yes. So let me kind of cook on this for a little bit. But let me just, for the people who don't know who Irene Cara is, let me just read a paragraph from her Wikipedia page. We'll talk about that, and then I'll segue and ease on into something else. Now, I don't even see the screen now anymore. I hope nothing goes mute, but I'm going to go and roll with this. Irene Cara Escalera, born March 18th, 1959 to November 25th, 2022, was an American singer and actress. Cara rose to prominence in 1980 for her role as Coco Hernandez in the 1980 musical film Fame, and for recording the film's title song Fame, which reached #1 in several countries. In 1983, Cara sang and co-wrote the song Flashdance, What a Feeling, from the film Flashdance, for which she won an Academy Award for Best Original Song and a Grammy Award for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance in 1984. Prior to her success with Fame, Cara portrayed the title character Sparkle Williams in the original 1976 musical drama film Sparkle. Now, there's more detail to that. And what I'll do right now, before I forget, because I always sometimes say I'm going to drop it down in the description area, I'm going to drop this here right now into the chat room. So if you want to read that particular page further, I've saved you the trouble of having to look for it, which Wikipedia is easy to find. But this one hit hard for me and a lot of my peers in my age group, no one in particular, but across the board as a collective, because this is our age group. I was born in 63. I'm still alive right now. But, when you're younger, when you're 10 years old and 15 years old, you feel as though you're going to last forever. Almost like the song Fame, right? That's ironic that it would come out that way. But the more and more we get older in the chronological years, the more and more phone calls we get like this, the more and more people that we identify with, they transition. And it's almost like you're getting these phone calls, you're seeing these stars that you've identified with that remind you of different parts of your life. Like it's hitting too close now, right? I remember when I was real young and like old boxers died. And I love boxing, but I was like, he's old. This is not to throw off on anybody or say it that way, but you know you're a little arrogant when you're younger. I say he's old, he's supposed to die anyway. I mean, I never said it like that, but that's pretty much what it is. And now it's not funny anymore. You know what I mean? It's not something we dismiss anymore, because next year I'm turning 60 in April, and this is happening more and more. So it's like, oh God, I see my mortality even more so. But why are we so afraid of transitioning? Why? We enjoy this life. We got into this life, the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations, the victories and what others would call defeats, but those are learning experiences for us to carve us out to be better people. So why are we so afraid? And I tell many people who get that feeling, because I mean, that is going to be kind of a shock if you are in a position where you realize it. Like, oh no, I'm dying. Could you imagine the adrenaline rush when you know that this time, unless you go in your sleep, unless you something peaceful or something quick, it might be an accident, but it might be something quick. It might be something slow. All I want to say to everybody is like, listen, don't freak out about that. Because just like we're here, we came from somewhere else. Where were you before? That in leaving there to come to this point, you were afraid maybe before. What you knew before was all you knew. And you didn't know of this level. And so you found yourself, and this is me just embellishing it to prove a point. It may not be this way, but I know this part is this way. You came from a place of darkness and warmth and comfort. Even if your mother did not consume the right amount of calories or nutrition for whatever reason, you were taken care of first. But now the time has come. Whatever it is that signaled you coming down, you knew it in your own way. And you found yourself coming down this portal, which is, and I hate to say, it sounds kind of crude, but we all came down through our mother's vagina. Let's be real here. And we came down this portal, and pretty much, whether it's pitch black at night, maybe a rarity, if we were born somewhere way out where there was no light, but pretty much it was somewhere in the civilized world where there was light. And if we were in the hospital, it was a lot of bright light. It was cold, no matter how much they adjusted the temperature of that room. We were stripped away from all that we knew that enveloped us in this love and in this warmth and in this connectedness to our mother right up under her heart. Now we're ripped away. I don't think we were there fearing what was next, but I know there had to be a lot of adrenaline, baby adrenaline, a rush of something when we came into this world. And lots of times there are loved ones there standing around. The times I've been to friends of mine and different people there when they were having given birth, I didn't want to be right there. I was near the shoulder to look down. I didn't want to see a sister of a good friend of mine. I didn't want to see her private parts. You know what I mean? I don't know. That was just me. I was like, I'll stand over here. You know what I mean? Because that's still very private and sacred to those who are close in the bloodline. But now you're here in a whole new world and you're helpless. You're helpless. You're at the mercy of the environment around you. You can't do anything for yourself except breathe. And sometimes if we're clogged up in our nasal passage or down in our throat, we need something to help clear it out. Things are stuck in us. You know, tests are done. Sometimes we come out a little too early. Sometimes we come out a little too late, but who's to say? We're here now, if you can hear my voice. But we conquered every step of the way in this lifetime. A place that we didn't know. A place that we didn't say, hey, I want to come there. Maybe we did in some way. And we had to wait for that next connection of the sperm to the egg in our family, or maybe if we were assigned to another family, whatever you feel, I don't know. I'm not going to argue about how it's actually done that way. All I know is that energy never changes, never dies, but it changes forms. I was going to say never changes forms. Yes, it changes forms. That's what I meant to say. Granted, it is 1:40 in the morning over here, and I'm in a strange place because my sleep has been off. I sleep for 4 hours, wake up, think I'm going to be up for the whole day, go back and sleep for another 8, 9 hours, wake up in the middle of the night like I just did now. That's why I'm just flowing with the shows where I can't say it's going to be a certain time, but I do try to get 1 or 2 in each day. And I've been just doing 1 for the last 2 days or something. So bear with me. It's an ascension for me right now. I'm going through a good period right now. I'm going through a positive period right now. My expectations are high and I feel good, but I feel good this day. I'm living in the moment knowing that tomorrow is not promised, but I can deal with what I need to deal with now. The music is playing today. The connectedness is being experienced today. We need to get more into doing what we need to do for this present day to build our legacy, to leave something behind for those who are going to depend on us, whether we know them or not, to make this place better, to make our vibration better. Yes, I do get on the backsides of the forces of the world that are negative, but I also have to say we have to build something positive for ourselves. The negative entities should not dominate our minds so much that we are left with nothing except a lifetime of complaining. And I'm not saying that like some white man, all you do is complain. No, but it's a balance. We are going to experience loss. We're going to experience pain, but we're also going to experience gain, and we're going to ascend and get better. You can walk on 2 feet now without falling unless you happen to be a little drunk right now. You can sleep and trust in that the forces of this world, our creator, the system that's put in place, that pretty much will wake up. And if we don't, that's still part of the process. And this is why I think that our expiration date on a physical level here on this earth is a good thing that we don't know. Something that we feel entitled to. And I just took a glance over and I have to acknowledge Pope Leo X and Miss Tivasation. Yes, we got to catch up, sister. And Pope Leo, I miss you, brother. Yes. But we don't need to really fear this thing. This is an experience. This is something that we need to embrace. So many people have fear in their heart and they jump down to the man-made religion. But that's like pouring gasoline, on a fire. That's not going to do anything for you. You see, we all have instincts. We all have things that guide us. If we only look inside, if we only think proper. You want to build a house? Well, you better know what you're doing, but it doesn't mean that you cannot do that. I just feel that our time on this planet should not be something that we're walking around in fear of something that's going to happen. And we miss out on all that we can enjoy and explore and build in this life. I think it's terrible. And you see those who set out to rule us and control us, they want to have us in a perpetual state of fear, to the point where we're questioning everything that we're going to do. Well, I'm kind of afraid because, I saw a car accident and it ran over this guy's head. Does that mean it's going to run over your head? Does that mean it's going to happen to you? Maybe something else worse might happen to you, or maybe nothing at all. We all have our own journey. Why are we sitting here letting fear rule us? Especially in the fear of transitioning. The more you can embrace that, you will transition. The more you can live life. What was it? Stephen Covey's books, The 7 Habits of Successful People, or something like that. In the beginning, he said, go forward, not exactly verbatim because I jacked it up, but go forward with the end in mind. Picture and this is not to be gory now, because I'm not into the gory foolishness. But he said this for you to see this, to jumpstart a sense of urgency into your mind and into your having a sense of urgency. Like, what am I going to do today? And it's okay to rest. That is something that I've recently learned how to do. I'm resting a whole lot now. I'm dropping down like a drunk, trying to get home on slippery ice with slick shoes. I can't stand up, lay down, and I just fall asleep. But you know what? I would fight against that. I embrace that now. Because Pope Leo X can tell you, I won't say specifically how, but, we work together. But he saw it. He would always say at the end of the day, when I'd bring my bus, how did you stay up all night and do that show and then wake up and do it another one? And then how do you do all of this stuff with the hours that you're working? I'm getting my rest now. And I'm living from within. And there is no fear. Because let's not even get churchified. Let's look at the natural order of things. You see a tree grow. See, nature's the best teacher. If we would only slow down from this man-made foolishness and go out in nature more on a regular basis. I'm not going to say turn your palms up and put the fingers together and start chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. I'm not going to say that. I don't know what I'm inviting into my mind when I say that anyway. But just be still. It's a shame that the only time of meditation where we're still is when we're sitting down on the toilet bowl. Because sometimes, like I said before, we don't even have any peace in our homes. It's not even a home if you can't have peace. Peace in your house or your apartment. So instead of wearing down with fear on something that is going to happen and that's something that's natural, why don't we try working on getting peace in our home? Or making our home out of a house or an apartment to have a smoother ride. Because if anything, all of your disputes and all of your little angers and all your little hang-ups, that's going to bring you to transition even faster. We all know that person who is way up in age and they just as cool as can be. Well, that's one of the reasons why they got way up in age as far as the chronological number. It's because they adopted a demeanor of being cool. I don't mean cool like a fad. Like, yeah, look at Granny. She got them shades on, hair fried and laid to the side and dyed and tipped a hat. No, but an evenly keeled demeanor. Balance. Again, when people ask me, well, how do you do so much? It's because I utilize every minute. If I'm not actually doing it, I'm thinking about it. What I must create for now, and I lose myself in a moment. I'm sketching like crazy these days, and I put on my music. Yeah, it's off of the computer. I know any electronic energy hitting you, but I have to balance it out with walking barefoot and being out in the sun and getting extra sleep. When I sleep until I wake up. And I know that's not always possible when you're in the system and working. See, I'm still a young man. But I retired from that particular job. What am I going to do? Go to work and still be over here in the motherland and go drive the bus? And what, I have a jet that'll get me there in 15 minutes? That'd be cool, though, because that income I sure could use right about now. But the bottom line is that if you have that demeanor, you see, we have people who are older. I don't want to say elderly, because we got some people who are in their early 20s who are elderly, meaning that the things that you would expect one who is older to go through, some of these young kids don't even exercise. They don't even eat right. They're online. They're disconnected from the social arena that we need to be in. That is not a replacement from being social. That's killing us off. We're having all these mass shootings. There are people who are socially disconnected. They don't know how to be social face to face, to laugh with people who you love and have a circle of people, no matter, it doesn't have to be physically around you all the time, but you do need that physical. You need that. You need to be hugged. You need to be complimented. You need to give hugs and give support and compliment and vibe and experience together on a human level what all this is about. We are dying inside. Even if we can preserve our bodies to live for 250 years, we're walking around dead. This is why many of us who may have a little age on them, I'm getting up there. I say, man, the good old days was something else, because we didn't have this electronic foolishness robbing our life force from us. And that is the truth. Something drives us. Just because you see the car outside, and I always say this, there's a car outside that somebody drives. You don't run up there, oh my God, the car is dead. No, the person who was inside of it got out and left it parked. If you have a blackout and you open up your freezer and there's been no power for 2 days, oh my God, what happened to the ice? It's now water. When you boil water for boiled eggs or to boil some pasta, but you didn't put anything in the water yet, and you go in the shower and forget and get on the phone, girl, how you been? Oh, let me fill you in on this. You go back and the water's gone. Well, what did it turn into? Steam. The water all on the wall and the ceiling dripping, looking at you. We change the energy. What it will be, I don't know. But if that is a universal law of energy never dying, then there's something more to this, and there's a reason for it. I'm not saying it's going to be some place where there's angels and all of this, but the energy never dies. That's all I know. And that's all we need to know. And do our best on this level. And then there's no fear. If you are so intent on living life, even if you have to take a rest, even if you say, well, let me just go take a little walk by myself, balance myself out. I was around too many people yesterday and I need to be still right now. Whatever it is that you need, we all have different temperaments. And don't allow anybody else to tell you what you need, because you can feel it. Do you have to wait for somebody else to tell you that you need to go into the bathroom and take a number 2? That'd be disastrous, because they may forget and you walking around stinking. You know when you have to go to the restroom, because it's you. You commandeer this vehicle that you're in. You drive this thing. You have to look at the signs that are on that dashboard that we don't see, but we can very much feel, and have an even, balanced temperament and take life as it is. Slow it down. For me, I got just as much energy damn near when I was 20 or 25. I feel that way. Maybe I may not be as strong or as physically fit or whatever, being this age and whatnot, because the body goes through different changes. But in my spirit, I'm that way. I've learned to slow it down and enjoy more. I can put out better quality when I work from inside. I couldn't have told you that 1:30 Accra time, I was going to start doing a live show, which I'm 5 hours ahead of the East Coast. So count it back, whatever time zone you're in. I'm going with the flow now with what I feel. You see what I mean? And I'm not worried about that. We all have our time. What I'm concerned is that you do what you need to do on this level. And lots of times we become so afraid of transitioning because we know that we have not done the proper thing on this level that we need to do. Whether it's that making that phone call to that loved one that you had a falling out with, and you know you were wrong. They ain't wrong for not wanting to be around you, but you need to make that phone call. I'm not saying if you don't do it, you're going to be met with devils and a burning pit. Nothing burns forever. Come on now. But there's something that we need. We need to leave this place better than it was before in our own way from what we do in this world. And we need to bring ourselves back better than we were before, because this is one big test. Like I always say, this life is a pit stop to eternity. This life is quick. Again, if you live 1,000 years, that's a blink of an eye when you compare it to an eternity. You see what I mean? And the joy of being balanced. There you go. Shaka. That's what I do. I just took a peek over there. I try to stay in the zone. But if you live balanced and know that tomorrow, if it's promised to you, will bring a continuation of the joy you feel, you can detach yourself from that of what you're feeling and experience and say, listen, it's time for me to get some rest. I will see you tomorrow. You don't get up and rush your meal to run out. Listen, when I'm finished with this meal, I'll embark on what I need to accomplish right after this. Be in the moment. You're here now. We're not only fearful of transitioning, but sometimes we're so caught up in this mental box that we fear doing simple things. I always use this comparison. You're going to move to a new home, a new house, a new apartment, condo, whatever it may be, a room, and it's time for you to pack stuff up. You can't do it by yourself the way a stranger would. Now, you don't want a stranger going on through your stuff to pack your stuff up. I understand. But if a stranger did it, it will happen that much faster than you who dig down deep in the bottom of a box. Oh, look at this girl. Look at this picture. I was 22 years old. Look how fine I was. And you start looking at things and find little letters, little notes, pieces of mail, happy birthday cards from like 25 years ago. The person that sent it to you, they're not here with us no more. And you sitting in the song comes on the radio, and you sitting amongst all these boxes that are open to all this stuff that you got to pack up, and you can't get it done. And I can't seem to get this done because you're not in the moment. That joker that you hire, at least if you're there, I'm not calling him a joker, but those pictures and those happy birthday cards and all those things don't mean a daggone thing to them. They trying to hurry it up and get it done so they can get paid. And you need that. And I've had that issue also with myself. I can't put on YouTube and sit there and watch it or have it playing. I can play music on it. And I put up another screen so I don't have to see the video, and I get busy in what I have to do. Simple things. And I got a bunch of wires and all kind of gadgets around me. And I got to dust these things every so many days because it's a lot of places and nooks and crannies, but it's kind of repetitious. But a lot of us are so fearful of what's going to come tomorrow, not even just transitioning, but the fear of what if this happens? I want to get that bad music up out of your head. And I've never known Irene Cara. I was close to her physically as far as passing in the street. And somebody said, that's Irene Cara. I said, where? I was in the village. I didn't see her. I was in Greenwich Village in Manhattan. So, I mean, physically, I was in a store behind her one time. I don't know. But I know people like her who not only have the talent and the grind, but they have that grit where they can push. And that's why we all know her for who she is. I'm not even going to say who she was. Her energy still is, because she rose above the normal, what we consider the normal way of thinking, which is abnormal. We all should be thinking above the level we're on. And we should always be looking to rise above our situation. And no matter when we do, we become iconic. Even if we're not world famous, which is not the goal. It happens sometime when you're known in a certain area of expertise, but that should not be the goal. Just ascend. That's what you're here to do. And you have challenges that will be thrown your way. And your test might be a lot harder or challenging than the next person's test. Why? Because maybe you've been given more talents and abilities and skills to overcome. And the test is to see if you can actually take what you have, activate it, and become the champion that you're supposed to be. You see? Reincarnation. I just took a glance. I saw the flames. I'm like, okay. Wow. And I'm seeing Timothy Cobb. Yeah, look at that. Reincarnation. I couldn't tell you. All I know, it's been proven on this level, maybe it's not on the next level. But they say energy can never be destroyed. It just changes forms. I'll leave it at that. Now, the rest of it, I couldn't tell you. I'm not trying to get out of it. I'm not going to say we die and we come right back here and we have a different body. And I don't know about that. But then again, what I do see too, you know how the old grannies would say when their grandchild would come over, I'm going to tell you, that's an old soul. That child done been here before. So I can't knock that. I've seen children who were born and their father was deceased before they came into the world. And the child who never knew the father because of that unfortunate situation started to grow and walk like the father, talk like, have mannerisms like the father. And you're like, wait a second, this just can't be genetic. There's got to be something else going on with this. It's something. My daughter, I'm not going to say which one, I'm not going to say the name. Everybody's going to start Googling. Where you going to find it anyway? But when my mother passed away in April of 1994, my daughter, which I have many, was conceived the next month. And when she came out of that womb early the next year, she looked at me. How's a baby going to look? They're not supposed to see anything. Maybe she just looked in my direction and straight up smiled and has many of the mannerisms of my mother, more so than any of my other children. What's that? So I'm not saying it can't happen. All I'm saying is that I just don't know. Like somebody to come back and be right there with you in somebody else's body or in a subsequent generation. I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say yes. For me, it's an energy thing. And I'd like to get more into that if we all have a discussion and do a show. That would be wonderful. You know, I'd like to do something like that. So, we have Tamara Hickman. How are you? You're on Facebook. You're not going to see the rest of the chat room because you're on Facebook. Just come on over to LanceScurv on YouTube. I'll share your comment, you know. And I know how you feel, Tamara. When we get up into these ages, it's not that we want to quit this life, but I compare that to someone who, you know, you have a 2-hour state exam. If you've never had one, you heard of someone who they may be going for their beautician license or a law enforcement type of situation after coming out of the academy to get their credentials for that. That's what I did. And yes, Sister Hope Rice, the only Rice I F's with. I love you. I love you. I love you, my sister. Thank you for being you. I draw so much strength from you, and hopefully I give you some back. But that feeling that you want to leave, or when we see folks, not necessarily always have to be older. It could be anyone once they got a feel of what this life is all about and maybe had some not too pleasant situations. And they're like, listen, I done been through enough. I'm ready to go. And I've heard people who were much, much older who were really on the edge. You know, they may have been going through a sickness or they've been through so much. And they don't know what they're claiming, but they're just ready to go. They're done with this level. So with that state exam, it's almost like we're not opening these doors until 2 hours. So even if you finish in 45 minutes, you're going to sit there. So you might as well take time with the test. And you're ready to go. Same feeling, different set of circumstances. Because lots of times when you're ready to go and your job on this level is done, you just might be afforded that, if that is the case. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but that's just the way it is. There are a lot of mysteries from this point. All we have to do is trust in the system, the natural system, and know that it's going to be all right. You know, when you plant a seed, there's a time for harvest. You know, when you experience different seasons, what those seasons are for. Everything is in order. You don't really know how to heal a cut. You just know the conditions to put yourself in, or put that part of your body in that was cut so it can heal. You clean it out. You cover it with something clean and let it do its work. You plant the seed in a warm earth. It's not just that it has to get sun after it pokes through the earth. The sun is warming up the soil, beckoning for it to come forth and spring forth, but it can't be done without water. So you know you have to water the seed. So when you do farming and gardening, but really farming, that's the real deal. Gardening is baby farming, but the farming is the real deal. You have a connection with this earth, a real connection. And you can possibly, after years of dealing and having an instinct and a certain spirit toward those plants, you can pull it up faster than somebody who doesn't have that green thumb. Some people are born with it. Some people can kind of ascend into getting better with it, but it's an energy thing. Most people who do really good gardening and farming, and I don't mean just commercial farmers who have the big machinery and it's just an industry for them and a profit thing. But when you have that connection with them, you talk to your plants. They pick up your vibrations. I've seen a lot of people, even in the city, in the 5 boroughs, have some pots out on the fireplace, and they're so loving. And they care for those plants that they thrive even in the concrete jungle. And I've seen people who live in the country who have pots and have land all around them. And they work hard on growing the plants, but they're so damn evil, negative, and jealous that those things are dead before they come out the ground. Ain't that something? Oh, gossipy house and everybody hating on each other. That's the vibration. Nothing grows in that atmosphere. So there's an unseen connection that we have with the plant world. There's an unseen connection that we have with each other, that we can sense in each other. And that system, that one, that creator, that whatever you want to call it, we are too brilliant to have come here by chance. And we're made too brilliant to be in a system, the righteous system of nature, to not be taken care of. Did you bring yourself here? Did you arrange and well, I'm going to go in the womb here for 9 months and I'm going to come out of the vagina, not know a damn thing, and I'll be all right. You were helpless for a long time. You doodled yourself and didn't know what you were doing. You just knew you had to push something out your stomach. You knew that stuff they were putting in your mouth was food and you ate it down. You knew you were tired. You fall out of sleep. You didn't know what sleep was. You just knew you wanted to be nosy and fight it. You didn't want to go to sleep. You want to watch everything, but sleep always won. So we know we added on different things as we learn in this life. And we got better and better. And after a while, we get arrogant sometime. Like we running this thing. And every time we see one of our celebrities or one of our loved ones transition, it smacks us back down into reality. Right back into reality. Because we realize at that point that we ain't running nothing. Nothing at all. And it makes us think and take a step back. You drive down the highway, you drive down the street, and you see a vehicle in front of you on the back of the windshield. Say you born in 1980 and you're alive into the present day. And then you see something, rest in peace, in a name. And the person was born in 2001 and died last year. So you like, they was only 20 years old. Then you start doing the numbers game. Hey, 20. And I was born in 1980. So that makes me 42 now. And I lived 22 years more. And you start thinking all kind of crazy things. And then you forget it after a while. You go on with life. I'm not saying that you have to think about death or transition, because to me, it's not a death. It is an ascension. Only if you lived an ascended life. You ain't going to be no fool on this level. And just because you transition means you're going into a great place. I do feel that stuff that you do on this level counts. And there is a grace of time where we are afforded a little leeway, no matter what our age is. If a mother comes home and sees her 8-year-old daughter being raped, and I hate to say that word because the majority of our sisters have been violated, and I understand that. And she takes a kitchen knife and she stabs that man 57 times until he's dead. Do you think if I was a judge that I would give her any time at all? She's walking away free. See, so you can't always compare certain situations. But if you have someone who is jealous, who's close to you, and you can't stand the good fortune and success that they've earned and had to go through a lot to earn it, and now you see them finally arriving, and they're humble, they're not bragging about it, but you're jealous of them. And you start going to their fridge, you know, you go over there, you're the friend, and they're not watching you all the time. They go to the bathroom and you drop something, a little liquid inside their favorite lemonade that's always there. Something that'll kill them over the next few months. And we find out about that. We're going to take your life or give you life in prison, whatever it is, because that was wrong. 2 situations that ended up at the same result, but really very much different. I've seen them. And so that brings me to another point. Yes, some of us may be afraid of transitioning, and when you're very, very young, you don't understand it. I just don't think that is total darkness and nothing. I just don't think we go to that. And maybe I'm wrong. There's differences of opinion. I understand that. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to say there's no reincarnation either, but physically we perpetuate, we keep going. We're here because of a sperm and an ovary from the past, and we have a sperm or an ovary for the future. When you look at every living thing, look at your fruits that are not GMO, that have life in them, and they have a seed for the future to keep it going. And this is why this wicked system wants to stop life and control life. I was watching a video earlier, and they have it where your consciousness can be contained on a chip, so they say. And it's this company, I'm going to research it. And they were explaining how you can live forever because they are farming these human bodies that are better bodies, younger bodies. And all we have to do is take this thing out and put it into the back of this person's head. Not just stick it there, but I'm just saying, you know, there's a way of getting it in. They say they've been doing this stuff for a long time. While we're looking down on our smartphones, while we were watching General Hospital decades ago, caught up in something that was fake. But we were worried about, am I going to have a job next week, which is a concern if you depend on the job, right? Understood. But the venomous stuff, the evil stuff, the stuff that we're doing on a lower vibrational level, and these demons are plotting and planning to change the very essence of life itself. Nobody has ever transitioned and come back. Listen, I think those, if you could, and you transition into something good, do you want to come back? Do you want to come back? We are life force. We're in this body. The body is not going to go on forever. Just like when you were a child and went to the amusement park, you ain't standing there forever. You wish you could. No matter how long your parents or caretakers sat there and let you go on ride after ride after ride, there comes a time that you got to go back home. So where are we going when we leave here? This is another amusement park, all different types of pursuits, all different types of experiences, other people experiencing this thing with us. But when it's time to go home, where are we going to go? And I think that mystery of what we don't know is the best part. We all think this doom and gloom, but I feel there's better. I feel there's a higher level, but it depends. How can we have such high levels of spirituality as we get older and the awareness of it? I ain't talking about the church. I'm talking about that sixth sense when you can look at somebody and feel their spirit, know their soul, know that they're a kindred spirit, have unbridled love for them. Just because, not because of any particular, well, you know, if I screw around with her, you know, her daddy got a lot of money. He about to kick the bucket. Not that kind of thing. No way. No way. Not that. And some people you can know for 20 and 30 years, and the only connection that you have is that maybe way back in the day, you went to elementary school together, grew up on the same block together, and you could meet somebody instantly. And it's just a thing you feel for them and you gravitate toward them and you could finish each other's sentences. What is that? There's more to this world than just you live and you die, you work and so you're black and pay tax. To me, when you have that kind of mindset, you ain't going too far. Because just like it's one sperm that hit that egg, you are the one who won out in that race. For the other sperm, I don't know where they went. You know what I mean? They fell out down the side of the leg or whatever. I don't know where it is, but you're the sperm that went out. So you already are, to be here, a champion. And how dare we think less of ourselves because of this wicked system that wants to use us and keep fearing us as slaves. Why? They're not going where we're going. But we can't partake in their ways and expect to go anywhere better and ascend. How you going to hang out with a bunch of idiots when you should be studying for your lesson in school and for that test and you ain't prepared? Well, guess what? You're going to be scared of the test. If you doing what's right on this level, and I ain't talking in the churchified way, you'll be all right. I'll say it the street way. You'll be all right. Translation for white people, you'll be okay. You'll be fine. You'll be just okay. I know you're watching. Ain't just 71 people in here. That's just us. You're always watching me. He's not speaking hateful tonight. He's really, really making a lot of logical sense, but I can still feel that he has this type of venomous quality toward us, you know. And why not? Well, y'all treat me in my life in America. Right? But I'm not letting that win me out either. You see, I'm not letting that unless you provoke it. It's there now. It don't take but too much to activate it, but I'm not going to let that affect me from ascending to a place that you could never reach. And that's what you're jealous of, because you can't go there. So you love when you see us drunk. You love when you see us screwing around with all these diseases around. You love when you see us hopeless. You love when we're trying to catch that carrot, but we're on the treadmill and like we're that rabbit running down the treadmill and can never reach the carrot. That's your system. Your system is to hook your cart onto our horse and we pull you to success, but we don't enjoy any of this success that our efforts should have brought us. You're going to pay for that. Sometimes here and sometimes elsewhere. But you're going to pay because nature tells me that this world is perfectly balanced. It's perfectly balanced. So every time that we see someone transition, every time that we see someone go to the other side, as we say it, we are not to have fear. What we need to do is flip it and say, what is it that I can do to make myself better, to affect the people around me, to raise my vibration. You see, you don't have to preach to anybody to get better or do this or do that. All you have to do is be an example. That's all you have to do. Because you don't know who's watching you. You don't know who you're affecting. I remember when my mother passed away, she transitioned April 28th, 1994. That wasn't too much of a cool time for me, not only because of that, because of other things that were going on in my life. And that's why I like to joke a lot and make people have fun, because I know the depths of pain that way on an emotional level. Oh man, my life was a mess around that time and a little before, because I was transitioning out of being that wild guy, having all these women and orgies and all this crazy stuff, into settling down. So when I speak to people about my experiences, I know. I've been there. The pain you can't get away from. The pain when you know that you need to clean your life up and straighten up a bit more and become useful. The pain of knowing that you have talents and abilities that this system doesn't want you to utilize for yourself, but they want you to utilize it for them. They don't want you to be a warrior in the war against us. They want you as a warrior on the front lines of their wars of enemies that they have, but they don't want you fighting for yourself. That's unacceptable. And I had lots of knowledge, but I just wasn't utilizing it. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to take this hard road, because if I wanted to go back and live a life of decadence, you know what? It would have been easy for me on this level. There were people coming to me, man, I got this building here, man. We can turn it into a club and you can have this spot, man. We can rule with what you know to do, man. You good with them ladies. I said, I can't do that, man. There were friends of mine who were saying, Lance, what are you, a fool? Look at all these women coming at you, man. You gonna try to settle down now? Man, you the Pope. So don't put that on me. That's an evil situation when you're talking about the Pope. I don't want to be no Pope. And I don't want to be the epitome of decadence either. So I had to rip myself away from those things and rip away the feeling that still was in me on a smaller percentage that I was fighting within myself. I'm not going to say that I just cold turkey did what? I might have took a couple weeks off and found myself right back in them situations like, what the heck am I doing? But it feels so good. So don't think when you're struggling against something that you're just going just cold turkey. And if you can, that's beautiful. But it's a process. And to know your value of something lasting. Ain't nobody got famous from, the amount of women they bedded down. You laying in the casket. Well, yes, he bedded down 3,000 women, so he's elevated in the Lord. No, don't work that way. But you can silently be a positive to the world around you, knowing that these things are here to be enjoyed on a righteous level, in the proper level, and we're gone. And there are other things to be enjoyed also. So I don't look at it where this is just it. Irene, Cara right now might be in a very happy place. She might be saying, man, I got through it. I'm just using her as an example. I don't know her personally. So if there's any family or friends that are listening to this, I'm not mocking her or making fun. I'm just using this as an example since she just transitioned. To speak about the point below, why are we so afraid of transitioning? But those who have transitioned before us, let me tell you something. When I came back from Accra, Ghana, back in 2019, and I had malaria, and within less than a week, I dropped down from 240 pounds to 214 pounds, which was 26 pounds. Hell, I couldn't lose 26 pounds if I ran all day, lifted weights, and dieted. That thing was eating me up. And it was the worst of it now, that fifth or sixth night before the medication really kicked in. And I'm laying there. I'm going to tell it like it is. I'm laying there in my feces. I didn't even know that my bowels, I was losing control. What does that tell you? I was losing control. I was slipping on out of here. I didn't want to lift my head in the bed. And I asked Mrs. SCURV, I was a little delusional. I was like, you made chocolate cake and you always get mad at me for eating in the bed. Why are you eating chocolate cake in the bed? She said, sweetheart, that brown stuff behind you, it ain't chocolate cake. I was like, oh my God. And I looked up at the wall right above the headboard, not on the ceiling, but on the wall. I was positioned and I was angled. After I got up and cleaned up, I laid back down again on different sheets, of course. Thank you, Miss SCURV. But I noticed it was really dark on the wall, not on the part above the headboard, but next to it by the end table. There was a hole that was about maybe 6 feet around, dark. The walls were light. It wasn't white. It was a light, limeish, greenish, really nice light color. And the other wall was white. And I remember just looking up at it, weak as heck, wanting to go in that thing. I'm telling you what I experienced. And it was so peaceful. It was dark, but I wanted to go through that. I didn't tell her about that until a few days later, but I was there laying down. I'm not saying I was floating. I was laying in the bed and saying, man, oh, I wish I could go in there. That's all I remember. And I fell asleep. And as the days went on, I got a little stronger, a little stronger, a little stronger. And the doctor told me, and I always tell this story, but I'm going to say it again to make a point since we're all speaking about transitioning, and that was my experience. He said, I am not supposed to tell you this because it's not professional. He said, but I was speaking to some of my colleagues, and I have been a doctor for 25 years. And I've run across many people who have had malaria. And some of them beat it and some of them don't, depending on when you start treating yourself. But brother, trust me, you ain't supposed to be here. You were like a plane, a huge airplane, a big Boeing that just decided to nosedive straight to the ground. And somehow, some way, when you got to maybe 10 stories above the ground, you just turned and went back up. Imagine passengers in a plane like that. He said, this is nothing you did. For some reason, my internet went out. It wasn't plugged in. I have 2 internets, but I only have use of one. Long story. The desktop I don't use as much, so I haven't topped it off. And the pocket one I've been using a lot. And I had that plugged in. It's saying low battery again. I got to switch this cord and bring it because it's going to cut out again. Hopefully not. Okay, let's see. Just let me know if you can hear me. And I'll continue on a little bit. For some reason, this is acting up. Let me put it here now. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, that's straight now. Okay, let me know if you can hear me. I know it went dead for a while. It cut right out. Took me right out of my my zone. And I think I can come back on it on all right. Okay, you can hear me. I was just waiting for that. Yeah, it actually ran out of juice and it cut out, and that's what broke the connection. It wasn't a power outage. Do I sound as clear as I did before? Because I was on my equipment before. Now I'm on the phone. The phone usually is not as good as all the audio stuff and everything. Just let me know if it's just as good. Okay, now we have this back working again. And I'm going to keep this, but I do prefer to be on the equipment. So I'm going to revert back to the actual. Okay, I'm popping in again. You might hear, you're going to hear an echo. Just give me a second. Okay, let's try this again. All right. Do you hear any echoes? Thank you for bearing with me, because it's always something that may happen with the power outages that can happen sometime. So when that happens on any future show, just sit tight. There are other ways for me to get back on. I'm so glad a lot of people hung in there, I see. Thank you so much. I'm still hearing my other phone. I just want to kind of move it away from me. I want to use it as backup though. Let me just make sure this is charging up. And I should have had it on tow anyway. And that's like another lesson in life. That's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Now, where was I? Okay. Because I'm not going to go on that much longer. I want to come on in this way. And of course, tomorrow there'll be more. I'm going to do at least one of these lives, as well as recorded stuff. Because I have a lot on my mind that I want to share. I want to really fulfill my purpose. Earlier, I wrote a short article. I put it out there in the community area on YouTube. And I also want to say that if you come to the website and go back to like posts that I put up for videos and written stuff, well, really the videos. And it's within the last 2 years, you may see in the video area that the video doesn't exist. It's because the platform that I was paying for, they killed the account because of the content, Irritated Genie and different things that I put up there. So they didn't give me a chance to say, save your stuff. After the whole Irritated Genie show, and we're going to have other ways of getting it up there. There's another platform that I will be using and testing, but I see they now have, how could I put it? Updated terms and conditions, which could still knock our stuff down. But there's one Black company, and I have stuff on it, but I don't know how to get to them. And I'm going to search hard and deep. They will put it up. And I will pay whatever it is that is necessary to keep the other stuff up, because they do not want us putting certain messages up there. And like, again, as you well know, I speak many languages, just English, but many styles of expressions where people can understand me no matter what their financial status or social status is. And they look at that as someone who is dangerous. I mean, I don't have all of these followers and different things, but they know that I'm not going to be compromised, and I'm not going to coon out. No, I'm not doing that. So they said, by the way, this guy takes care of himself. He got a couple years left that he's going to get stronger and stronger. You're daggone right, because I'm here for a purpose. Just like I was saying before, we all have a purpose here. And you don't need to be sitting around thinking about a transition that is going to come. It will come when it comes. It may come for you tomorrow. It might come for me when I'm 101 years old. I don't know, and I have no time to concern myself with that. I know what we have now and what we must do now. What we do now will affect our future and the future of our children, and changing this world into something better than the direction that it's heading in. Who would have thought, whether you think it's fear-mongering or not, that we would be on the verge of a planetary nuclear war? It could be something that is put out there to scare us all. Because you know them crackers, they always work together. We don't really know. But whatever happens, we cannot move in fear. That's when they get us. Because fear is not created by that good force of this universe. It doesn't belong in our house. It doesn't belong in our minds. It doesn't belong in our conversations. Imagine living fearlessly. I'm not saying thinking that you're a bird and you're going to go up on top of a skyscraper and jump off because I'm fearless and I'm going to overcome this. You'll be a fool. You know about this thing called gravity. You know your body can't deal with that kind of impact. That's being logical, the critical thinking. Miracles do happen. You might jump off and somebody throw you off and you survive the bad boy. I don't think so. But you're not leaving about it here before your time. So for the time that you have, and those who may call themselves Christians, you know, because I pick on them sometime. And a lot of them speak fear, and they're not supposed to be thinking that way. To me, fear is an insult to the God that they serve. But you talking about, I'm blessed and highly favored. Well, just add something else on there. And this is not everybody. But I'm blessed, highly favored, and full of fear. With the mightiest God who made all of this is backing you up. Why are you going to insult him? / her, a combination of both. It's not just some male energy now. Don't get mad at me for saying it that way. How are you going to insult them? How are you going to insult them? By being full of fear. Then you need to get off the roster then. You need to get away from the ranks. Don't claim that. Unbelievable. I'm just checking to see if this internet module is charging up. That's what it was. It ran out of juice. It's like you driving. You ever drive a car and it's like the gas meter is off or something, or it's low and you think it's like still a little bit to go, but like I can just drive 10 more miles, right? And you're pumping the gas and it's not going nowhere, and you're looking like, what the heck happened? You ran out of gas. Well, this thing ran out of juice. I always keep it juiced up. But again, we have to consciously work this fear out of us. It has no place in rising to the heights that we are supposed to reach in this world. And I mean, not the man-made world, but in this world of righteousness, in this world of what we're put here to do. Move and balance. There's no problem to seek something that brings you great joy, because we all have a different task to do and accomplish in this world. Doesn't mean, we can be inspired by other people, but it doesn't mean we have to be a cookie cutter carbon copy of what somebody else does. Again, like I said, we can be motivated by them. So I'm restructuring the blog, LanceScurv.com, to accommodate the changes that I have to be able to still put the content out. And I'll put content out, like I wait for it to pile up, and then I'll put it on Patreon, put it in different places. But this is a link, if I can put it here. Okay. That's a link to my latest article that I wrote. I was just in a zone and just wanted to share a few words, and just go on there and leave some comments on the blog. Start a discussion there. Say something. I'll reply. I want to get more into going on the website as opposed to just doing things on somebody else's social media platform that they can take your stuff away overnight. And I keep telling people, LanceScurv.com is where it's at. We're here on YouTube, yes, but that's where everything is. If this gets cut for any reason, come on over to the site. Y'all should be on there anyway. And there's no price to be on there. It's free. So I got to do a little restructuring with the older posts that are now empty holes now when you look to click on them. But all of that stuff, for the most part, most of it is still here on YouTube. See? So I got to make it where it's all there. And I got to do 2 years worth of work, 2.5 years worth of work. like how much? Like 800-900 different posts. And that's not stopping me from creating now. And again, there's no fear. This doesn't stop me. Nothing will stop me. I'm here for a purpose. You're here for a purpose. Being fearful is not good. You got to be smart now. I'm not going to say run across the highway because the Lord got your back. You're going to realize the Lord turned around looking at somebody else and he's going to let you get hit. That's stupid to do. This is why you have a brain to reason. But the thing we must think about every day that we wake up is maximizing every single day that we have. We waste a lot of time. We piss off a lot of time. And that's really one of the jobs of social media. Yes, it brings you lots of information. You can communicate, but get out of it what you need to get out of it, but don't let it suck you in where you're staring at a screen, letting all of these images and things that have nothing to do with you, that you have no interest in, and it's not going to do anything for you, or except to inspire you to hate your brother and sister, inspire you just to be a consumer, to buy and purchase things that you don't need. We didn't do this decades ago. Let it be an addition. Jump in and jump out. Just like when you need to use a system that somebody's trying to sell you, but you have in your mind, I'll take the trial period, but as soon as it's over, I'm done. Figure out what you need to do in your day, in your life, for you, not enabling other people that don't care about you, who only want to use you. But what is at the end of the day for you? That is not being selfish. We had so many damn takers in our life, takers and fakers. And I'm not saying that you should not do for others. But do you think a bank is going to give you $500,000 loan because you're nice and you have a nice smile and you said nice things to that banker? No. We got to check your resume. We got to check your work. We got to check your credit history. We got to check to see if you've been credit worthy in the past. Ladies, stop letting these bum men into your life. Use your hands, a cucumber, or a dildo. That's better than years and years of problems with a do-nothing man that shined like a superstar because he had another woman backing him up that you didn't know about. Oh, he always keep himself so clean. He always looks well-fed. He always has a nice wardrobe. He's driving such a nice car. Well, that car was not his. The wardrobe she bought because she had good taste. He don't know how to dress himself. He looks well-fed because she was cooking for him. So be careful. We got all kind of vampire spirits out here looking to swoop down on us and leech off of us when they see us cultivate energy that is supposed to be used to propel ourselves to go higher. I'm not demonizing men. Brothers, there are sisters out here that don't give a damn about you. They see you got a little money or some great potential. She might be with somebody else and watching you grow and waiting to jump ship to come over to you when things get good. But if you need her and you fall sick, she's gone. Yeah, Sister Oyala, I tried to find it and couldn't find it. Just if you can, like even on this article, just go below, way down to the bottom, below the article in the center, and just put a few X's or something. You know what I mean? Or just put your name, something. And as I talk, I'll go in there and see at some point if it got through and why didn't it get through. Your name is not blocked or anything like that. But like I said, we have to make wise decisions. And you know what? If there's any fear, because fear has no purpose in our lives, but if there's any fear, let that be a fear of failing. Let it be a fear of making the wrong decision. And you utilize that fear because we all still do feel it. Utilize that to keep you on the straight and narrow, because the older you get, the less bounce back you have from a bad decision. So you can make a bad decision in 18, 19, 22 years old, maybe 25. That's getting kind of late in today's society anyway. And you can kind of bounce back. But I can't make any dumb decisions at the end of my 59th year going into my 60th year. Oh, it's going to take you 8 years to bounce back. What? That means I'm going to be almost 68. I ain't got no time for that. And really and truly, you don't have any time to waste at any age. I was talking to an old buddy of mine from the bodybuilding world when we used to compete and train together. And the one thing I told him, I said, you know what? When most people, the athletes, so it doesn't have to be a bodybuilder, any athlete, you have to train smart. You have to train smart and resist the temptation to do too much and injure yourself, because it's not about how much you've done up to that point, but the injury time takes away from your momentum in those peak years that you're an athlete. So you got to walk the fine line of balance. And that's the same way in this life. You can't get so caught up with the lust of your eyes that you dive into a situation that you can't come out of right away, just on face value. How many times have you seen that well-polished apple sitting up on the supermarket shelf? Got home, was shiny, and you bit into it, and it was brown and rotten on the inside. And you got a mouthful of wax. That's why it looks so good. The facade looks so good, and it fools you. I'm not saying take a knife and cut it, and if it's bad, put it back. But I'd rather eat apples that don't have any wax on it. That stuff is not good for you anyway. I'd rather get the one that's not as pretty, but full of nutrition. You hear that, fellas? And there's no righteous woman out here that is not pretty, because it's who she is on the inside that makes her pretty. She might have a mockery to you and worldly and using you. And that goes for the men too, to the sisters. He ain't gonna look so good when you realize there's no substance. I'm supposed to be talking about transition, and I done went off into something else. I always do that. But what I'm gonna do, I am gonna wrap it down right now. It's 2:49. I'm really AM in the morning. I'm deciding if I'm just gonna stay up and deal with part of the morning or go to bed and sleep so many hours and miss half of the morning. So I'm in the valley of decision. I want to write something a little more, listen to music, and do some things online on the website up under the hood. I got to balance out my time, but I know tomorrow I'll have at least 2 lives and some other things. I was going to actually go up on the rooftop, but that might look kind of weird, almost 3 a.m. It will be quiet up there. And if I don't look too tired, I might do one up there for 20 minutes before and put it up while I'm still up. I always like to keep something cooking on the stove. See, I always like to keep some content cooking on the computers, you see. So anyway, I'm getting ready to head out of here. Simply Deep 1985. You're that person who showed up to the party when everybody got their coats on, leaving with the aluminum foil and disposable plates. There's always somebody dancing, but the party's over. But it's never over. Let me see what brother said here. I don't think death is something to be afraid of. It's more of where we go in the afterlife is what we're afraid of. Yeah. And I think that's determined by how we live our life and the spirits that we attract and the spirit that we have, which we have a chance to hone and develop it into something good no matter where we stand. I do feel that, but I'm not going to live in that kind of fear. You see what I mean? And that's what it is. But anyway, make sure to download the LanceScurv app. I always say that for the new people who are here, there's the instructions and stuff. And like I said, I'm looking forward to vibing with you. Lance@LanceScurv.com is where you can reach me in America, or even if you want to call straight with no long distance charges incurred, you can call me at 407-590-0755. I'll flash that across the bottom also. If you have anything that you want to talk about or any special people that will need to be interviewed, you don't have to be rich and famous, but you just got to have a story and be open to talk. Then you contact me and we'll set that up, right? Sister Oyala, I'm waiting for that phone call again. We're going to do it right next time and get a good old long one in, and it'll be good. And there's the contact information on the bottom. And I'm going to skedaddle. I'm still up, but I'm going to skedaddle and move on to the next level. And let's just see what we can do. It's going to be something nice, the next one that we do. And I'm winging it right now, but they're working out. Quality over quantity, but still, I like to get my quantity in. Anyway, much love to you all. I will talk to you soon. Contact me, reach out to me, and let's move on to the next one. Peace. It's been really nice.
In my brain wants you. I've been hanging by myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you. Yeah, you always make me feel like, oh yeah, you never leave my thoughts alone. Yeah, you're the reason I'm going out my mind. I just can't stop thinking about you. You got me feeling some type of way. You make me wanna stay in all day. You're the reason I can't get out my head. I just can't stop thinking about you. 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 Take it away, feeling too good to me. Chilling all day, all in your space is where I wanna be. Here in this room, what did you do? I just can't get enough. Too caught up in your love. I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain wants you. I've been hanging by myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you. Yeah, you always make me feel like, oh yeah, you never leave my thoughts alone. Yeah, you're the reason I'm going out my mind. I just can't stop thinking about you. crave when you're away, nights are sleepless. Do we need space? Yeah, maybe a break. Boy, you're my weakness. Give and we take, the love that we make, it's my favorite drug. Too caught up in your love. I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain wants you. I've been hanging by myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you. Yeah, you always make me feel like, oh yeah, you never leave my thoughts alone. Yeah, you're the reason I'm going out my mind. I just can't stop thinking about you got me feeling some type of way. You make me wanna stay in all day. You're the reason I can't get out my head. I just can't stop thinking about you. 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 Take it away, feeling too good to me. Chilling all day, all in your space is where I wanna be. Here in this room, what did you do? I just can't get enough. Too caught up in your love. I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain wants you. I've been hanging by myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you. Yeah, you always make me feel like, oh yeah, you never leave my thoughts alone. Yeah, you're the reason I'm going out my mind. I just can't stop thinking about you. All that I crave when you're away, nights are sleepless. Do we need space? Yeah, maybe a break. Boy, you're my weakness. Give and we take, the love that we make, it's my favorite drug. Too caught up in your love. I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain wants you. I've been hanging by myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you. Yeah, you always make me feel like, oh yeah, you never leave my thoughts alone. Yeah, you're the reason I'm going out my mind. I just can't stop thinking about you. Got me feeling some type of way. You make me wanna stay in all day. You're the reason I can't get out my head. I just can't stop thinking about you. 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 I just can't stop thinking about you.
Okay, I do have to go right now. It slipped me. I had it looped. But anyway, let me get out of here. And I promise within the next 10 hours or so, we'll come back on live again. I want to get at least two lives like this. So anyway, have a good night. I hope the music puts you in a good mood. Thank you, Sister Oyala, and everyone for being here tonight. I love these, and I'm going to keep on doing these. There's no effort at all when I'm talking to family and the people that I love. Much love, and have a good night. Thank you so much.